Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of BossRoom TV. I got myself Fade here and my also lovely assistant Ty.
Hello.
Today, we are actually going to go over the Spiritkings. This is a one tank fight and about 2 to 3 healers depending on where your numbers are, and range typically are preferred over anything else here. And the fight is a I don't know if you really call it phase fight, but there's actually 4 different bosses in this fight, each one of the Spiritkings, obviously. The first one will always be the same, and that is something...
Hang the Merciless.
There you go.
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Something along those lines. Something the Merciless. Anyways, you'll see him strolling around in a circle, but we do want to point out that the order that you get these guys in changes.
It's always different.
Exactly.
When you get Kang down, then there's always just a random one for the second, random one for the third, random for the fourth.
Exactly, and that's even if you guys wipe and come back, it's not every time you come into the raid. But this guy will always be the same right off the bat. And basically, all of them have about 3 or 4 different abilities you have to pay attention to. But one of each carries over throughout the entire fight. And I'll go to the first one here.
Once you're on the 4th guy, then you have all 3 or 4 abilities to deal with.
Yeah, it gets pretty nutty crackers at that point. But the first guy here is going to have 3 main attacks: Flanking Order, Massive Attack, and Annihilate. Massive Attack is pretty straightforward. It's just a little cone that he does in front of him. This one, you want to make sure that the majority of the raid is actually standing in front of him, because it's one of those attacks where the damage will be split out to everyone that's in front of him. Annihilate is a giant, I wouldn't even really call it an AoE, it's more of a cone, but it's pretty much a one-hit kill. There's a 3-second cast time, you'll see him lift up the sword and then stab it down. Very easy to get out of, just have everyone run forward, just run right through him to his backside and you get right out of that. Flanking Order, now this is his carryover ability. So every boss after this, or every phase, this is what's going to carry over, and that is he's just going to summon a row of Mogu warriors, and you'll see him. You hear him call out, and you'll see him, and then they'll just walk in a straight line, whatever way they're facing. That'll be diagonal, forward, or back and forth. So all you got to do is just move the boss out. We found that we just had our tank, which was me in this case, just call out where I'm moving, left, right, so on and forth, and then have everyone follow. But then once you take him down, the next boss starts, which could be any of them, but we'll just go ahead and go down the line here.
Alright, we, Xian the Endless Shadow, he has an ability Undying Shadows, where he summons a skull to fixate on a raid member, and once you kill it, it will explode into like a black pool that you don't want to stand in. So what we did is we pulled the skull all the way to the outermost wall around the perimeter of the room and just killed it and left the pool there. He has Shadow Blast, which just targets a random raid member that you want to interrupt as many times as you possibly can, and Charged Shadows, which is just like a chain lightning.
And just want to point out, for the Undying Shadows too, you want to have ranged switch to it to take it down. You don't want to have melee.
Yeah.
Because I think it's isn't it a constant? They're just doing constant damage to anyone that's near them. So you want to just...
Yeah, and then they explode, and you don't want that either.
Exactly. Yeah, so you just... Big pile of shit on the ground, run away, basically. Undying Shadows actually is the carryover ability, I believe, right?
Yeah. Flanking Orders and Undying Shadows are the carryovers so far.
Yeah, so even, like I said, after you take this guy down, he'll still summon the skulls and things like that. And then next up is Mang the Demented. This is the guy that you're definitely going to want to Bloodlust on, no matter when you get him, even if he's the second one. You want to get through him as fast as possible. The biggest thing we want to point out, obviously, is his Maddening Shout, which turns all the raid members hostile. Basically, it's mind control. And what you're going to want to do is have everyone group up and then just AoE, because to get out of it, you have to do, I believe it's 40,000 damage total, so for each person.
It's 40,000 sustained damage from another player. Make sure you're not using anything that can inflict dots, because those carry over when you regain control. And he does Maddening Shout when he gets 100 Insanity, which he can build 10 by using an ability called Crazy Thought, and you want to interrupt that.
Yes. And then also be careful when you're doing the AoE, because like I said, you will be in Bloodlust, you don't want to kill your buddies. The other 2 things you got to pay attention to here is when he does Crazed, which is increases his physical damage by 200% of his current Insanity. So if it's 90%, that's going to hurt quite a bit. And then of course Cowardice is also something you got to watch out for, and this is just, he's going to reflect damage back to the raid equal to 50% of his current Insanity.
Next up on the line, we got Subutai the Swift. He has 3 abilities as well, one called Pillage, where he inflicts a debuff on someone, reduces damage and healing done by 50%, and increases the damage they take, physical damage they take, by 50%. He does this every about a half a minute. And then Volley, which is a cone attack, he fires a volley of arrows in like a big cone in front of him, and he does it 3 times, and you want to get out of that because it can hurt really bad, especially if you have pillaged on you, because it's physical damage. And then he has rain of arrows, which he targets a random raid member, and he'll shoot down a bunch of arrows from the sky, and in like a big 8-yard radius, so people around the target will also get hit, and they pin you, and you take damage every second, and that's not good because it can kill you in a couple seconds.
Exactly, and we actually found, I don't know if it's an actual mechanic or not, but what we basically did is we would have 3 ranged further away from the boss, and then we just have everyone group up on the boss, and he tends to pick those guys off instead of the ones near him. So it kind of made it a little bit more able to deal with.
There's also certain abilities that can break out of rain of arrows, or the pinning arrows, like Blink can bust you out of them.
Oh yeah, any type of quick getaway will work. But and again, just really quick here, the carryover for each boss, you're going to have flanking order from the first, and then off of Xian you're going to have the Undying Shadows, which are little skulls, and then again Meng you're going to have the Maddening Shout, the MC going on.
And Pillage from Subutai.
Yeah, but then once all 4 are down, then that's it. You have saved the day.
Good job.
Pat yourselves on the back.
And that's about it.
And again, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a subscribe and a like. It definitely help us out quite a bit, and then we will look forward to doing the next video for you guys.
Goodbye and good luck.
Take care.